In a minute, we're going to be joined by Rose Namajunas. As I said, it was announced late last week that Paige VanZant is no longer fighting Joanne Calderwood. She injured her knee in training, and now she is fighting Rose Namajunas, which is a very important fight at strawweight, a fascinating fight. It's just really interesting to break down. It's really interesting to think about. This is not the fight that we were expecting for Paige next. That's for sure. I don't think a lot of people were expecting Calderwood, let alone Rose. So a nice turn of events, and it makes that week in Las Vegas that much more exciting because you have 3 events in a row, and it kicks off with this one on Fight Pass. Let's talk to Rose right now. She is joining us via the magic of Skype. There she is. Rose Namajunas, how are you, my friend?
Hello, how you doing?
I'm doing great. So when were you told that you were going to be replacing Joanne Calderwood to fight Paige VanZant on December 10th?
Like the day before it was announced to everybody. So what does that make it, like a few days?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Perhaps Tuesday or Monday of last week. What was your reaction?
What was my reaction? Like, this is great. This is a perfect opportunity for me. You know, I get to be back in a high profile fight, but it be an opponent that's, you know, that I can be definitely ready for. And, you know, I'm in the best shape of my life, or, you know, at least in getting to my prime, you know, in my career. And I think it's just like the right progression, whereas maybe earlier was a little too fast. So I think right now it's just perfect.
So it was just a few weeks after your fight in Houston. Did you feel like you had enough time to decompress and go right back into a training camp?
Yeah, after my last vacation, after the Carla fight, and I just took a long time off, I kind of realized that was a time that I needed off to not need time off from, at least for a while here on out, you know. I think after this fight, I want to take, you know, some time off, obviously, to let my body heal, but mentally, I'm just so ready. You know, I'm more motivated than ever, and I'm really just enjoying this crazy ride.
I think the general consensus was when this was announced, like, wow, we were not expecting Paige. Who's over there? Is that Pat causing a ruckus? Is that what's happening over there?
Nope. He's not causing no. Well, I don't know. Maybe just by sitting there. I don't know.
Well, I know it's very hard to concentrate when HD is around. But let me ask you this. My reaction, and I think a lot of people's as well, was like, I was not expecting them to put Paige in this kind of fight. After, you know, she's 3-0 and she's done everything to deserve all the hype, in my opinion, but there's not a lot of space, in my opinion, between you and the title fight. Were you surprised when they offered you Paige, when you were that opponent next for her?
No, I think it's actually like a really natural progression. I think maybe, was it like one fight of a difference in terms of when they would match us up? Maybe, you know, because obviously nobody expected Joanne to JoJo to pull out. But I think that we were going to be lined up either right after that fight or somewhere, maybe one more fight after that. So to me, it's like I view her as a high level opponent, even though, you know, there's a lot of maybe criticism around saying that she's kind of like brought up slowly and stuff like that. But I think it's a very natural progression the way that we've kind of matched up right now.
Yeah, and I'm not criticizing it. I love it. Why not see, you know, how she fares? And you can no longer say that she's being brought along slowly. Have you been impressed with her thus far in the UFC?
Yeah, I think she's doing her thing. She's doing all these interviews. She's really exciting, and she's here and there, and she's been able to juggle it all and constantly, you know, get technically better, as well as really not losing any of her natural aggression.
What about the attention she receives, the hype that she receives? What do you make of that? Is it too much too soon?
I mean, obviously not. She's doing pretty good. So, you know, I think that she's being brought up at the rate that she needs to be brought up at. And obviously this is a jump up in competition for her coming up. So, you know, I think that, you know, that's the test that everybody's been waiting for. And I think she's been waiting for as well. So, you know, I'm more than welcome to bring it to her.
You know, it's interesting, and I don't know if you thought of this, you probably did, but this fight is taking place on December 10th, and that's 2 days shy, 1 year anniversary of the fight against Carla in the same city in Las Vegas. That was December 12th. Do you kind of feel like this is a perfect scenario for you? It's a year later, you've grown up, you can come back there and sort of exercise those demons. Did you think about that at all?
Yeah, actually, I do. I kind of feel like this is, you know, a time for a big milestone. I've definitely come I've definitely come a long way in terms of putting things in my past, and this is just one more thing that I can, get past, and then obviously heal from, and come back, and just keep moving on with the momentum. This is it's just I feel like I could write a book or something on how this is all kind of unfolding, and just the different side that I have. I know everybody's kind of like watching from a fan's perspective, but for me, it's just been a blessing, just seeing how crazy things turn out, and just how everything kind of just seems to fall in place to how they should be.
It's interesting because going into that fight against Carla, they were saying you're the next Ronda, and there was all this attention on you, and now it feels like she's getting a lot of that attention. You're kind of just sliding in there. Do you feel like the roles have reversed a little bit?
I don't know. I don't even know if our roles kind of are even interchangeable, just because we're way different human beings. We're two different individuals with a different past. So as much as I'd like to say, there's definitely a lot of patterns that you can see growing up, just people making similar mistakes, obviously being overconfident like I was, and then kind of learning that the hard way, and then coming back and coming stronger. Like usually that's the natural progression of a younger, more immature individual, and then kind of coming back. And I seem to be on the right path now, but at the same time, we're two different people, so it's really hard to compare our circumstances.
When you say overconfident, did you think that you were a world beater? Like at that point, you were never going to lose again?
I don't even know so much as that, as so far to say, like, it's weird. It's like losing wasn't even a possibility necessarily. Like it wasn't like I'm never going to lose again. It was just like, what? I'm invincible, like there's no question. Like it wasn't even losing isn't even a reality in my life. So to me, it's like, even though it has happened before, it's like you forget that real quick, especially when you're on a roll. So for me, that's just like the main thing is just keeping myself humble, keeping myself happy and loving, and just loving the fight sport, the way I have all my life, and just using it as a way to express myself rather than try and be just cocky and trying to be overly dominant, and trying to, instead of just being myself.
After the win over Angela in Houston, you said that you were pretty much all out of tears. You had cried so much leading up to that point, you were almost emotionally spent. Why were you crying leading up to the fight?
Just because of it's weird. It's like, the obvious nervous emotions that you have before the fight, the typical, the doubts that keep seeping in your head, even though you silence them throughout the whole training camp. It just keeps coming back in. It's like, I know it's just voices in my head, but then on top of that, just aside from the natural fears, but also a sense of overwhelming joy that, this is it. This is all, everything has come to this, and it's just a beautiful time in my life, and whatever is happening right now, I'm going to remember for the rest of my life, and I'm going to look back with gratitude.
After that win, could you finally, did you feel like a weight was lifted off your shoulders, like you could finally move on from the Ultimate Fighter experience? Because that was your first fight since then.
Yeah, actually, that's the common theme. It's just after I lost to Tisha, I put all those things in the past, and I kind of just okay, I'm going to be a totally different fighter now. I'm not even going to think about any of that stuff before. And then even and then after coming out of the house, now I didn't realize I was kind of stuck back there. Once again, going into the Carla fight, so then I kind of had to it's weird, but and it's just one of those OCD things. But I threw away all my even as Ultimate Fighter, I still have some stuff, but just certain things that has an emotional attachment to, So
wow.
Yeah, just left it, and now I'm just kind of okay, now I'm on to the new thing. And then later, once I'm done with everything, I'm done with this fighting chapter, I can look back into all those things and reminisce. But right now, I said keep moving forward.
When you say threw it out, you actually chucked it in the garbage?
Mm-hmm.
Whoa.
Well, yeah, to Goodwill or whatever like that. Yeah. Just put it in. This is weird. There's some stuff that you throw in the garbage that people are really? But I really have a thing where I just get rid of any I used to compete a lot. It's just a whole bunch of tournaments growing up, piano wise, or just acting, or just random things art, arts and stuff like that, and competitions, taekwondo and stuff like that. And I would always get medals, my whole life, or just like, you know, winning this tournament or this trophy or whatever, I was just like, I don't know. I didn't really care about the actual trophy. I just wanted to compete, you know? Mm-hmm. So like, and that was actually a problem, like way back when I didn't really care for the belt necessarily when I'm back in Invicta. I just like wanted to see if I could get there, and then wanted to see if I can do it. And then this belt is like, whatever. I know what, you know, but I understand the kind of emotional value now that, it means so much more to me now than it did back then. So I don't know.
All part of that maturation process. No, very, very, very interesting. I love your celebrations, by the way. It almost seems like you lose complete control over your body, like you don't really know what to do with yourself. Is that an accurate way of describing it?
Yeah, and it's actually kind of funny now that I've seen the way that it has evolved. Like the past fight, like I kind of was like, woo, like celebration, or like sense of relief, and then all of a sudden I was like, you know what? I'm just kind of like, that was kind of anticlimactic, you know? Like, I kind of knew that was going to happen, and I just, like, threw my mouth cracked. So I was like, well, I knew I could do that. Like, I don't know, I just had, like, this like, a little bit of a sense of attitude that came over me. You know, like, it's like, what, that was supposed to happen. Why was I having those doubts about myself, you know? And then just kind of pissed at myself, pissed at the crowd for cheering. Like, y'all cheer for this? Like, y'all didn't know this was going to happen? But at the same time, it was like, okay, and I just kept walking. I cooled down. Like, okay, calm down, you know? It's, you know, you did a good job, and then, So my celebrations have changed, and it depends on each fight, you know, like after certain fights I'm just like, you know, but then there's a lot of fights where when it ends in a spectacular fashion, like the Flying Armbar, there was so much like craziness going on before then that it was just an explosion of just, whoo, you know, so it just depends on the fight.
I'm pretty sure that was the first time I got to watch you in person. And the best part was I'm able to watch Pat as well in your corner, because, you know, sometimes they'll show him on screen, but I can't choose when to watch him. Can you hear him during the fight? It's incredibly entertaining watching you in person because of that dynamic. Can you hear what he's saying to you?
No, okay. No, I really, like, actually, when I go back into that memory, it's kind of like a just foggy dream. So it's really hard to even remember anybody saying anything, really.
How has this been able to coexist and be a good partnership? Because we've seen more often than not, you know, couples get into it together, and it's tough. It's tough to work together, right? I mean, whether you're working in a company, an office, or training, this is a very emotional thing. How are you able to balance all of that?
It's really hard, but I think we've gotten to a point where we're like done. We're past all the dumb, like, just stuff, you know?
Yes. There we go.
Past all the dumb stuff, like the stages where we had to get through, like, do I trust you? I don't know. You trust me? Like, you kind of did this to me. I did that to you, and I don't want to hear your voice right now. Like, we've gone through all that, and then we kind of, like, for some reason, we just can't stay away from each other. So it all just kind of goes away in the end, and we're, like, better than ever.
That's great.
Ever since we, like, first met each other, like, I'm more crazy about him now, and I'm sure he's more crazy about me. I don't know.
What changed? This is great. I love this. What changed?
Just like, he's different. I'm different. Like, I like me a lot better than I liked myself way back then. And if I would have met him right now the way he was, like, when I first met him, I don't think I'd be attracted to that kind of type of guy.
Wow.
You know, so he's changed a lot. I've changed a lot, and we both, like, kind of changed on the same path, and, like, it just worked out, you know?
You remember I told you I got something to tell you?
Yes.
Later. Not yet.
Oh, come on, Pat. Yeah, I've been waiting like 2 years.
Man, too much suspense. We gotta keep these shows coming along. So you can
I like it. I like the way it has evolved from, like, him being on the show and you were kind of in the background, and now you're the featured guest and he's in the background. It's
it's
it's a nice.
Oh, here go my jiu-jitsu coach.
Oh, wow. I didn't know we had multiple guests in the background. Has he evolved into 100% being your coach? Is Pat done fighting?
I don't know. There go Miska.
Oh, wow.
She was so uncomfortable just now. But anyway, is he? Well, he's teaching now. Like, he's teaching at 303 BJJ Training Center, and he's doing, like, kickboxing classes there now, which is awesome. Once a week, you know, Monday nights or whatever. But yeah, wait, what's that? Yeah, well, we don't. I think the fighting thing is kind of open right now.
Okay.
I think it's just not like a thought. I don't want to. I don't want to see that chapter closed just yet, and I don't think he wants to either. At the same time, it's not like we're not making it a priority by any means.
Rose is the star of the show right now, man.
That's right.
It's mostly like keeping Pat's body together is like the goal.
Sure.
of the and like like getting him up in the morning.
Yes, and
he hurts. Like he's had a long career, so and like broken hands, broken noses, like. It's tough, and he's definitely feeling his body hurting nowadays. And just maybe he wasn't like, his fighting career, he wasn't as smart as we're doing it nowadays, where we're actually like taking care of our body and like stretching and doing like discipline stuff. So
you're doing it soft.
Yeah.
You're being soft.
Yeah, so we're actually doing it like the smart way, scientific way and stuff. So now I think if he can, take care of his body, I think we'll see another at least 1 or 2 or maybe 10 more fights. No, I don't know.
And what a body it is! I've seen him in his tighty whities right in front of me, and it's quite the piece of work, I must say. Okay, two last things before I let you go, and I appreciate the time greatly. I'm sure you'll be asked this question many times leading up to the fight. Do you think a win over Paige gets you a title shot?
Yeah, I think so. Especially the way that I think that I'm going to win, and I believe in my heart. I think that people are going to be dying to see that fight.
And does this make the fight in a couple of weeks in Melbourne, does it make you more interested in the fight now that you have a day? Like maybe you weren't assuming that you were going to be booked for a fight with this huge show coming up in Melbourne. Do you watch the fight now between Joanna and Valerie a little differently?
No, I just want to keep it from a fan's perspective at this point. Like when I go out to watch it in California, making my appearance and stuff, I'm just there for like a job, and I'm still focused at the task at hand, which is Paige. Whereas after the fight with Paige, I'll be watching the Joanna fight, but I think I'm gonna just enjoy it from just like fight fan perspective. But I'm not gonna be thinking like game plan against this person. Like no, because I got enough on my plate as it is. So once I'm done with this fight, then I'll revisit that, and then I'll watch it again, and we'll come up with a different game plan.
And you're picking Joanna, right?
Yeah, but I kind of feel like I don't really have enough information on the other girl, but I still like from the little bits that I've seen, I would still go with Joanna.
All right.
Or Joanna.
Joanna. I think it is Joanna, but you could call her whatever you want. Joanna Champion, as she likes to call herself. A pleasure to have you on the show, as always, Rose. Thank you very much. Can't wait for this fight. It's a fantastic matchup. Kudos to Sean Shelby and the team, and good luck in training. You don't have a heck of a lot of time, but maybe that's for the best. Maybe it's good to get right back in there and keep the train moving along. So thank you very much for the time. Thank you to Pat and the rest of the team, and we'll see you in Las Vegas.
Thank you.
All right, there she is. Rose Namajunas, one of the top contenders in the UFC's strawweight division. Huge fight for her coming up in a little over a month, December 10th in Viva Las Vegas, Nevada.